Was that a wire in the door crack? As I began to think about boom. News surrounding the incident that took place at XXXX High School is still incoming as we get more information surrounding the incident. Truly, this appears to be the story of the year. News of the purported death game has been sweeping the nation, as millions are eager to know what exactly happened. Luckily, it appears the mastermind behind this event has already passed away. Still, it is a true tragedy. The bodies of a local community leader and a respected teacher at the high school were found inside the premises, apparently executed by a crude mechanical device strapped to their necks. Additionally, a young law student was caught in a fatal explosion killed by a device rigged inside the operating base of the mastermind. Police suspect that the mastermind intended to die alongside whoever came to capture him in a final act of terrorism. Indeed, the body of the mastermind was found incinerated inside the base. Perhaps most shockingly, this mastermind has been identified as one Brian Morris, a senior at the very high school the incident took place at. The motive for such an act of terror? The boy was purportedly vengeful for his father, whom he considers wrongfully executed. Indeed, the victims of the mass kidnapping incident all have some connection to another mysterious case from years past. Many are skeptical that such an absurdly complex act of terror could be carried out by a single child. However, investigations into the matter highly support the idea that Brian acted alone. Records of him manufacturing the bizarre collars used in the incident, as well as getting his hands on a variety of dangerous weapons, have been found. This has re-sparked a long-held debate in this nation regarding restricting access to such things. Additionally, proof that Brian directly kidnapped at least 9 of the victims the night before the incident has been found, with heavy circumstantial evidence remaining for the final 3. Notebooks owned by Brian show the frightening process in which he concocted the idea for the death game, as well as the various items he would hide, where he would hide them, and additional details. A thorough sweep of the high school reveals that most, if not all, of the ideas Brian had written down were in fact present. These notes show that Brian was apparently considering a handful of other candidates for his sadistic game. The alternate candidates include the judge responsible for handling the sentence of Aaron Morris, Chief of Police Bowen, and Anna Red, an associate of the late Amadeus Bowen. The system used to operate the entire endeavor has also been poured through. A frightening amount of forethought went into coding the system on which the death game ran. Analysis reveals that a majority of the game was handled automatically, with plenty of voice clips being pre-recorded. However, other aspects of the game were manually operated via a custom app the mastermind installed on a burner phone. With all of this evidence combined with the testimonies of the surviving victims, the police are currently concluding that Brian Morris acted alone in this unprecedented act of terror. While the official investigation into this incident may be coming to a close, the public is still left with many questions. Ace of Spades. The perfect sequence of events. The only casualties are the necessary ones. A highly reliable path with minimal room for error. Should be easy to arrange and sets the stage perfectly. The intended result. The deck of cards are dropped back onto the table. I've got it. Are you sure? I know you've been shuffling through that deck of cards for hours now, which, creepy I might add, but you weren't actually doing much. Oh, I was doing plenty. I've died, a couple dozen times at this point? More? I wasn't keeping track, but that's beside the point. Okay then. So, are we good now? Of course, I've mapped out the perfect sequence to take care of things just the way you want. Fantastic. Oops. I knew I could count on you. So what now? Things should already be in the process of being put into action at this point, correct? There's not much left. For now, I'll handle capturing the mouse as you handle the rest. Think you can handle that? Of course I can. Don't condescend to me. I wouldn't dream of it. And like that, the room had one person in it. It's funny, mapping everyone's lives on a board like this, moving them like pieces, having them completely under my control. It's liberating. Now I'm the one that makes the decisions. I take no joy in reporting this to you, however. What's wrong with the brat? I don't know how else to put it. I believe your child is suffering from an inability to feel emotions, or at least a severe impairment to do so. That's probably monkey, but fine. Looking at things historically, this is often a symptom of the brain lacking. Hold on, I don't give a damn about the science of it all. Are you telling me that my kid's a freak? Now, hold on, I didn't say freak. Let's be careful with terminology. You're saying they can't feel emotions. That's sociopathic. That's the epitome of being a freak. The doctor was wrong. It's not that I couldn't feel emotions. It's just that I didn't need to feel them unless I wished to. I had control over them in a very literal sense. Really, this was an advantage, wasn't it? No, there were drawbacks to it. I learned pretty quickly that my reactions weren't like the others, that I was viewed differently than the others. To remedy that, I got better at leaving them on all the time. For a time, that was perfect. I was able to blend in, more or less. It took me a while before I came to the painful realization of how careless I was being, leaving them on like that. Since then, I've learned. Why am I thinking about that person now of all times? This is unproductive. Well, maybe I could sympathize with them a bit more now. After all, it really does feel good to be in control of other people's lives. Ugh, Jesus Christ, my head aches. It's like I can hear a blaring noise just ringing and ringing and ringing. Shut up, shut up. What's with the noise? It's like it's real. Wait, it is real. As I came to my senses, I realized that I was no longer blindfolded, no longer bound and gagged. Whatever alarm that was waking me up stops. I guess it finished doing its job. It was at this point I realized there was something covering my face. That feeling on my face. This is basically the start of the game again, but new because we can't skip it. I tried to pull it off, and to my surprise, realized a mouse mask had been put over my head. Why on earth would that be there? And more importantly, what was it stuck to? Some more investigation revealed that my throat was surrounded by a metallic heavy necklace. The fuck? Immediately I tried to get it off, but unlike the mask, this thing was here to stay. That didn't seem good, but I couldn't dwell on that. I needed to assess the situation. So what did I know? It looked like I was in some sort of science classroom. Now then, why would that be the case? As I pondered that, I noticed another person, a man getting to his feet. Whoa, what the fuck? Oh, again! Remember how I thought for the longest time that this was us? Like, this is perfect timing. Oh, what the fuck? Hey, what the hell's going on? Who are you? Easy, easy. I don't know what's happening. After calming down, I realized that the man and I were on the same page. We were kidnapped, put into some sort of ludicrous situation. For now, we decided to go by the animal names of the masks that we woke up in. Okay, so now it's already diverging. This isn't word for word what it was the first time around. Looking around, our situation seemed pretty grim. Locked in what appeared to be a school without any idea of why we were taken. And before long, a voice went on over the speakers. Good morning, rat. Good morning, ox. How was your sleep? What's this? It's a message from the kidnappers, I'd imagine. I hope you got some rest. You'll need it for the upcoming race. Be prepared for the jury to face judgment. I suggest you listen to what I have to say very carefully. Failure to comply with what I tell you will result in an immediate disqualification, and trust me, that outcome would leave no one satisfied. Now then, you should both promptly proceed to the starting line. In this case, that would be the cafeteria on the first floor. Right outside this room should be a staircase which will take you to the first floor, and from there it's a simple right turn to get there. Before you leave, make sure each of you grabs the tablet with your respective animal printed on it. Take good care of these, they will be critically important. That is all for now. Once again, do come quickly. The Jade Emperor eagerly awaits your arrival. And with that, the speakers cut off, leaving us just standing there, processing what we had just heard. After a back and forth, we decided to comply with the voice, trademarks, orders, making our way down to the cafeteria. There we met with a whole bunch of interesting characters. An Olympian, a friendly-looking guy, a gang leader, a creepy artist, an incredibly jack dude, a meek-looking girl, an apparent movie star, my therapist, to my great surprise, a journalist, and a scruffy-looking man who is eyeing me with plenty of suspicion. We all agreed to my suggestion of adopting our animal masks as monikers. The wait for some sort of explanation as to what was going on was certainly unpleasant. However, eventually a television turned on showing a hooded person I could only assume to be the Jade Emperor. They demanded that we all put on our animal masks while they spoke. After we complied, they began to explain the situation we had found ourselves in. You all, if you have not yet realized, will be the 12 zodiac animals who will compete in my race. I thought it might be like that. You might ask, why you are animals? There are a number of good answers to this question, but to put it simply, you all live your lives with the awareness of animals. You go about day to day without a goddamn care in the world. Peacefully moving onwards, never stopping back to reflect or apologize for your sin. I just now realized that does he have a butterfly tattoo because of the butterfly effect? Because how very simple changes can result in a completely different ending? That would make sense. I like that case. Your murder. Our murder? What are you talking about? Oh, don't even pretend you don't know, you filthy glory-hungry liar. You see, perhaps not all of you know it, but the 12 of you were the jury of a particular trial. Of course, you weren't the actual jury, I don't blame them. What I mean is that each of you made selfish or stupid choices. Each of you were complicit. Each of you decided to help hang an innocent man for a murder he did not commit. And this idea you all have, that you just get to walk away from that and not look at what you've done, it's sickening. It's not fair. You all deserve a chance to be punished. You all must be tried. So this is what we're doing today. A Zodiac Trial. A trial, as in we're being prosecuted. Perhaps my word choice has given off the wrong impression. Initially I had an idea more similar to that, however, I think instead we shall settle this with a race. A race fitting for the beasts you are. Are there rules to this trial? Finally someone is asking the proper questions. Please take a look at this display. As you can see, your 12 animals are lined up on the left, going from top to bottom in the order they come on the calendar. You may also notice there are 24 spaces between the starting line for the animals and the end of it. The aim of this race is to use the tablets provided to move your animal to the finish line as quickly as possible. That makes sense. Before continuing, I think it would be pertinent to address a certain rule you all will likely find important. Each tablet may only be operated by its owner. Additionally, the owner must be alone in a room when using it. If you operate your tablet with another person in a room, or if someone else operates your tablet, you will be instantly executed. Executed? I expected something like this, but still, it's a shock to hear it laid out like that. What the fuck? Dipshit, you think you can kill me that easily? Oh, but I can, for you see, each of your necklaces are outfitted with a devious device. At the mere push of a button, knives on the inside of the collar will come out, cleanly slicing your necks open, leaving you to die. How does it feel, knowing that just like that you could be executed, dead? Feel fun? Is it enjoyable for you, scum? But I don't want to die. Calm down, we'll only be executed if we break your rules, right? There is a bit more to it than that, but you're right in that I won't kill you for no reason. There'd be no point to any of this if I was just a senseless murderer. No, I guarantee that if all of you behave appropriately, every single one of you can leave here alive. Now that is interesting, because specifically, the Jade Emperor said, it's not the Jade Emperor. It was the other person in that two-person conversation, I think, where I assume one of them is the Jade Emperor and the identity of the other one is currently unknown to me. But he specifically said, I reached perfect ending, having the least amount of casualties necessary, which means that Snake and Dragon are guaranteed to die either way. regardless of what happens. So he is lying here. And what does that entail? The race will consist of 12 rounds. If no animals are able to get to the finish line at the end of the 12th round, all of you will be executed. Every round will last 45 minutes. All participants must take an action within those 45 minutes. If a participant does not take an action during a round, they will be executed. At the end of the round, the animals take their actions in order from the top of the screen to the bottom. Using the tablet, there are a few available actions to choose from. All animals are able to simply run. Choosing to run will move your animal one space forward. You may also choose to use your animal ability. Each animal has their own ability which can help them in the race. Be sure to click the information button to learn what your ability does. Participants are also allowed to confess once per game. If you choose confess, then at the end of the round when it's your animal's turn you will be given an opportunity. You may use this 1-minute opportunity to give a meaningful confession to me. Afterwards, I will rate the effectiveness of the confession and your animal may move anywhere from 0 to 5 spaces. What's the basis for your ranking? I'm under no obligation to tell you that. Try it out for yourself if you're so curious. Finally, you can also choose to use an item. Throughout the school, I have hidden some things of practical use as well as items to be used in the race. The physical item will have a passcode on it. Input the password into your tablet to use it. Only one participant may use any given item per round. There are a total of 24 items in the school, a minor and major trinket for each animal. All animal minor trinkets are the same. Using it will move your number of spaces equal to the number of other animals who use the minor trinket that turn. For example, if you use the mouse minor trinket by yourself, you'll move 1 space forward. However, if you use the mouse minor trinket, a friend uses the ox minor trinket, and 2 enemies use the tiger and bunny minor trinkets, you'll all move 4 spaces. That is interesting that he's already mentioning friends and enemies here. On the other hand, the major trinkets each have their own effect. You'll have to figure out what they do by finding them yourselves. Even though each animal has a minor and major trinket based on them, they're not exclusive to said animal. So if Dog wanted to use Pig's minor trinket, that's totally allowed. Tch, what a childish game for us to stake our lives on. It really makes you all seem small in comparison, doesn't it? Anyways, that is the essence of this race. At the end of each round, after all the animals have taken their actions, if any animals have made it to the finish line, the race will end. Those at the finish line will have their collars automatically unlock and everyone else will be executed. Seriously? How you choose to run the race is up to you. Hey Brian, I'm gonna ask you something. Brian? What are you talking about? Right, buddy, where is he? Where's who? You told me I'd be seeing my old pal Ollie here. And I'm not seeing him right now. What's up with that? Unceremoniously, the television cut off. It appeared Dog's comment had caught the Jade Emperor off guard. What's that about? You chatted with this asshole? No, not really. I was just trying to get a reaction out of the guy. And I think I did my job pretty well if you ask me. But why'd you call him Brian? It appears our compatriot Dog has caught on to what I noticed. You noticed it too? Snake went on to explain who our mysterious captor was. The son of one Aaron Bowen. Things suddenly clicked into place for me. I realized how I fit into all of this. That's what this was. Fuck this. So you okay? Seriously, is this supposed to be revenge for your dad's execution? Okay, be in denial about your dad's guilt, but why take it out on me? You're going to ruin your life to take revenge on someone who wasn't even involved? Or what, are you angry that my father wasn't able to save your dad up against all that evidence? My father believed in your dad's innocence, Brian, and he tried his best to save him. And because of that, you put me through this shit? That's fucked up and you know it, Brian. I don't know if I mentioned this the first time I read it, but that's precisely why you're here. Your father believed in his father's innocence. You do not, which is why you're here and he isn't. Is my guess. Oh, Mouse, you're right to be angry, but let's take a moment to calm down. Where do you get off trying to tell her to calm down? If anything, she should be more mad. God knows I am. After all, there's no goddamn reason I should be here. I ain't got the faintest idea that connects me to all of this. Really? Are you sure about that? What do you say? You calling me a liar? No, not at all. I'm just saying I would think you'd have some connection to the case. After all, I'm looking around and most of these people do. So think hard. Are you sure you're not involved in this at all? Of course I'm not. Bizarre. Hey, it's also weird that I'm here. I mean, what did I do to deserve this? The articles I put out weren't unfair or anything, and a bunch of people reported on it all. From there, people began discussing their connections to the case. It did seem like almost everyone had some reason for being here, even if many of those reasons seemed incredibly tenuous. So then why was Dragon here? Regardless, the group couldn't focus on that. There were more important matters. We needed to deal with this stupid game that Brian had set up. There had to be some way of getting through it as a group. A couple of ideas were thrown around until an idea was formed. Look, let's just try the simplest solution. The simplest solution? What's that? I'm talking about the minor trinkets. I get it. You do? There are 12 minor trinkets and their movement is equal to the number of people using them. If we're able to find all 12, we'll be able to cross the finish line as a group in 2 rounds. Oh, that's a good idea, Horse. If we just do that, we'll all be fine. So, we can all get out of this alive then. Hey, have any of y'all seen a knife like this before? Out of the blue, Dog pulled out a knife in front of everybody. What the hell? Why did he have something like this? As he held it out, it looked like he was scanning everybody's expressions. What the hell? Why do you have that? I keep it on my person at all times. I checked my boot and I found that I still had it on me. Smart. I have to say, it's a real swanky knife. Oh, can I play with it? No. Please? I already said no. Pretty please. Oh, when you put it like that. Fine. Really? Of course not. Rooster pouted and turned to Monkey. Dog's mean. I am aware. Dumb as it seemed, Rooster did have a point. The knife was gold and had many intricate engravings on it. It seemed pricey. Is there a point in this line of questioning? Not particularly. Just thought it'd be weird if anyone did have a knife like this. Especially since there are only 2 of these out there. If that's the case, why did you think one of us would have one? I don't know. Although I do want one now. You think it's cool already? Check out this. Dog pressed a little button on the knife, and at the base of the knife fell down, revealing a little compartment. In said compartment there appeared to be some small metal capsule. A little hidey hole. He said this with enthusiasm, but again, it looked like Dog was more concerned with everybody's expressions than anything else. That's sick. Right? So, how much would you be willing to pay for it? Paying's boring. I'll bet you something for it. That doesn't seem very fair. What would you be betting? I don't know, an Olympic medal maybe? You'd be willing to part with that? I thought you said you didn't actually place in the Olympics. Oh, you don't have to place to get an Olympic medal. Huh? Yeah, they hand out commemorative medals to everybody who participates now. What is happening to the world? Could everybody settle down? We've gotten wildly off topic. Did you all just forget we're in a life and death situation? Anyways, like Horse pointed out with the trinkets, it would only take 2 rounds to finish the race. We have plenty of time to search and the school isn't all that large. Let's first try to find the minor trinkets. Sounds good. So then, should we start our search? Actually, we should input a move. After all this talking, round 1's almost over. I looked over to a nearby clock and found that Bunny was absolutely right. Ah, Bunny's right. Let's all split up and input our run actions. After that, we can reconvene and start our search. With a game plan, everybody split up and input their moves. We came back and watched a display on the screen track our progress. We then began discussing how we'd split up to look for the trinkets. I was listening to the group when I heard something. I'm thinking about checking out the training room. I saw it beforehand and I think there might be a trinket. A training room? By the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, I think he's got it. A trinket's definitely hidden there. A shame I'm already accounted for in another group. Believe me, it's no shame at all. I don't want you to come with me. And would you quit snapping your fingers like that? You don't possess the rhythm for it to be cool. Actually, could I join you, horse? I don't know why, but when I heard about the training room, something clicked in my brain. I felt like that it was definitely the right choice to make. So I decided to go with horse. Sheep also tagged along, and sure enough, we were able to find something. It turned out to be a major trinket that didn't seem particularly useful. After that, we reconvened in the cafeteria at the end of the round. We then discussed where else to look, and when Bunny and Monkey discussed searching the third floor, I got a similar good feeling about it. So I ended up exploring a forum with Dog and Bunny and eventually found a major trinket that could act like a minor trinket. Score! However, at the end of the third round, we were presented with more of a problem. The Jade Emperor came on the screen and introduced a bullshit new rule that affected the person with the accomplished personality as well as the one with the weak personality. It set them up to have motives completely incompatible with the group. For a while, everyone was panicking, thinking that at least 2 people would have to die. However, I realized that if we combined the 2 major trinkets that I had previously found, we'd be able to save those affected by the twist. After proposing this idea to the group, everybody rejoiced, sure that I had solved Ryan's puzzle. I'm not going to lie, hearing all that praise made me feel pretty good. But there were more important issues to attend to. We couldn't feel safe until we were out of the building. Ox and Sheep admitted to having the aforementioned personalities, and using the trinkets we were able to save them. With that matter settled, we could once again focus on searching for minor trinkets. It took some doing, but before long we had collected 11. Combining that with my ability, we'd be able to escape in 2 rounds. The first round of using the trinkets, things went off without a hitch. However, as I entered a room to input my actions the second time, the speakers kicked on. Well, are you happy, Mouse? Happy that you are all able to band together to finish things without any casualties? I imagine you aren't. You think so little of me. Mouse, you must understand, this too was an outcome I intended to be possible. Granted, I didn't think it likely, still it was always on the table. If you all were truly innocent of heart, you wouldn't be easily swayed by my words. You'd be calm, rational, work as a group and evade the trap set for you. The Jade Emperor talked a big game, but his annoyed tapping on the nearby table belied his anger. And we did just that. Doesn't that prove you wrong? Prove that you going through all this trouble was for nothing? Perhaps. However, I wonder how many times you would have had to fail before you could get a success like this. That's a fail? The hell does that mean? Had this outcome been the result of a cosmic dice roll, I was just wondering how many times God would have to roll those die to see something like this. I imagine quite a few times. I imagine more often than not your sin would doom you. Sounds like a lot of bullshit coming from a sore loser. I don't know how little you think of us, but I know for sure that no matter how many times you'd put us through this, we'd always band together. If you say so. You can only act smug for so long, Brian. Soon enough we're going to be out of this place and then you're going to jail for a long time. Indeed. I imagine the police won't look too favourably on all of this. My only regret is that I won't be able to land a punch in your face myself. You know, if you really want to, I'll let you. What do you mean? Outside the school there's a football field. There's a small building right beside the fence surrounding that field. I've been using that as my base of operations, so if you want to come find me to get justice yourself, that's where I'll be. And you're telling me this because? Think of it as a reward for a perfect victory. You can punch me in your father's absence, although I doubt he'd say this was the correct form of justice. Still, it'd be a shame if you never got a chance to take vengeance for yourself before the police arrive. Being able to see this asshole face to face. Like before, something felt right about this suggestion. You know what? I think I'll do just that. I'm gonna knock you flat on your ass when this is all over. I look forward to it. And just like that, the speaker went dead. Feeling oddly good about the encounter, I exited the room. Soon after that, I saw Dragon angrily dragging Snake down the hallway. As I wondered what that might be about, I noticed Dog also following after them. But before I could think too much about that, Bunny called out, Everybody, gather here right now. Let's all get together now." In an instant, he got the attention of the crowd. Before I knew it, people off on their own, or even in separate classrooms, were standing in a group in the cafeteria. Everyone was gathered except for Dragon, Snake, and Dog. Alright, we hear you. Let me guess, you want to make a big old heroic speech about how we did it and how we worked together. That's not exactly. Well, guess what, fucko? You don't get to make that speech, I do. Now I know some of you might be wondering if I have the credentials to handle such a task. I assure you we're not. Well, turns out I've made such a speech in a number of my films. A number of films I shall now completely list off in order of release date, accompanied with a brief summary of the flick as well as a quote from both the coolest and dumbest review of said film. To begin, I think everyone is willing to cede the floor to you on this one. Why, thank you, Monkey. I'm glad I've inspired so much faith in you. Gosh, to think I wouldn't even need to list my bona fides, well, it brings it to... Just get on with it. Wow, even Sheep was beginning to heckle. Get on with what? Speech. The speech? Right here, right now? You wanted to give it, didn't you? You stole the job from Bunny. I wasn't even going to make a speech. Alright, if you insist, Pig. Gosh, and I didn't even prepare anything. So, I guess I'll freestyle. Right, okay. Here we go. Speech time. Round 9 has ended. Thank God. Now let us see how the race has progressed. The rat has hitched a sneaky ride on Ox. Okay, I think we can skip through a bit of those. Tiger, yep. Bunny. The dragon has used a minor trinket. The dragon has moved to the finish line. The snake has used a minor trinket. The snake has moved to the finish line. Horse, yep. Dog is the other interesting one. The only other interesting one. The dog has used a minor trinket as well, okay. The finish line has been crossed. The winners are mouse, ox, tiger, bunny, snake, dragon, horse, sheep, monkey, rooster, dog, and pig. Congratulations. Anyone who has not won has lost. Prepare for execution. So this is definitely something pre-recorded. Those ending lines hardly seemed apt. After all, we had all made it through just fine. I heard the click of my necklace coming undone. We did it. Yeah, we did it. As people began to remove their necklaces, a sense of achievement and celebration spread through the group. The feeling was infectious. After all, we were home free. Once that thing got off your neck, there was no imminent danger. The sheer weight these necklaces may have been lost on us. Not the physical weight, but the weight of knowing that at any moment you may just die. The scene in front of me was a very comforting one, pleasant one, but one I couldn't indulge in, because I remembered I had already made other arrangements, and I didn't want to keep a certain someone waiting. Before someone could notice, I slipped away from the group. I made my way to the entrance of the school. Or rather, the exit. I grabbed the doorknob and pulled. I expected that it would be locked. However, to my surprise, I was able to open the door quite easily. I suppose the collars on our neck were the real deterrent to leaving the building. As I walked outside, I could once again feel the sun on my skin. I could breathe fresh air. I was free. I could run straight back home. That's what I'd normally be thinking. However, none of those thoughts crossed my mind. Instead, I had a single goal in mind. Now, where did Brian say he was? I looked around and soon enough I saw the small building by the football field he was referring to. I strode towards it confidently. There was some part of me, some bit in the back of my mind, which questioned why I felt so sure that this was a good idea. But that part wasn't louder than the part driving me forwards to punch a brat in the face. As I gripped the doorknob, I felt confident, so I began to open the door. However, as I pulled, I felt some weird resistance. Huh? My eyes darted downwards. Was that a wire in the door crack? However, right as I noticed that detail. Oh, electricity this time.